Welcome to Throwback Thursday, a trip down memory lane showcasing the golden era of RC cars.
Hey, what's shaking, guys? Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Throwback Thursday. Today on the Throwback Thursday bench, we've got a survivor from 2003. It's the Wt01 Chassis, the Blackfoot Extreme. 2003, kind of a strange year for vintage Tamiyas, but hey, think about it, guys. That's almost 20 years ago now, believe it or not. And this thing has a lot of sort of vintage-ness to it. It still has that real old school Tamiya essence to it, although it's not like an 80s or 90s kit. And it's one of the many kits in the Blackfoot series. The Blackfoot Extreme, as you see here, the Wt01 chassis, is basically like a two-wheel drive version of the Wild Dagger, which if you haven't seen that video, I did do a Throwback Thursday on it as well. So this gorgeous example of a survivor was gifted to me by one of you guys out there that's watching right now. Eric, thank you so much, my man. I really appreciate this. This kit was gifted to Eric several years ago. He didn't know what to do with it. And, watching the channel and seeing my obsession for some of these old kits, he said, I know what to do with that thing. I'm going to send it to that bald guy up north. And he did. Thanks, dude. Totally appreciate it. So let's get into the kit. It does need to have a little bit of work done to it. As you can see, it's missing one of the roll bar lights. In fact, it was included, so I'll fix that up and get it mounted up there. But overall, it's in very nice shape. You know, the bumpers have definitely done their thing, absorbed some bumps along the way. The body has, needs a little bit of TLC, but I will restore this kit. It doesn't need much for a restoration. In fact, it needs very, very little, which is super exciting. I love an easy restoration, but we'll cover that on another day. Today, we're just gonna go over this kit, talk about it, check it all out in detail, and give it a good once over. So come on in, let's take a look at the Blackfoot Extreme. So like I mentioned before, guys, it's a two-wheel drive chassis. And you'll notice some striking similarities between this and the Wild Dagger. And they share the exact same upper chassis plates, but here we just have a gearbox in the rear. The Wild Dagger has a separate, really the exact same gearbox, just turned around in the front. Blackfoot Extreme does not. It's just a two-wheel drive chassis. Taking that first look at it, guys, I mean, look at it. It still screams 90s with the, I call it almost like that Ultimate Warrior kind of looking paint job on it with the faded airbrush decals and the bright yellow and all the bright colors. They did so much of this neon coloration back in the days, and I just love it. The shocks that are on here they're not the stock shocks. I believe this kit came with friction dampers out of the box. These have been upgraded at one point, and I'm actually going to upgrade them again to a slightly different shock. But what's on here is an oil-filled damper with an adjustable upper collar to adjust your ride height. We've got four-wheel independent suspension on this rig. Check it out. Silky smooth up front. In the rear, again, independent suspension, which is pretty trick. But one of the interesting design elements of it is the fact that it's got these short little shocks on it. A lot of guys will upgrade and put a longer shock tower in the front and the rear and upgrade to longer shocks. I'm not going to do that. I want to keep this thing as vintage as possible. Just kind of an interesting design how they decided to put such a short shock on such a big truck. And as you can see here in the rear, it is driven by dog bones. No fancy CVAs or CVDs, anything like that required on this thing, just a standard dog bone. The tires were spiked at one time. They did have a spike on them like the Tamiya Monster Beetle does. You can see the little nubs there. They've long since been worn away, and the nubs are now gone, but these were spiked at one time, which is pretty cool. Came with a stock 540 motor in there, and you can see the capacitors still soldered on, which is a pretty neat little thing. That was a must-have back in the day to help fight. I think it was just to help fight radio interference, but something we just don't really need to do today had to be done back in the day. But overall, one of the nicest things about this chassis is it's like it's a stretched out Blackfoot. And while the body doesn't quite fit perfectly, it still fits quite well in my opinion. And this added wheelbase, I think, really helps this thing stay stable. And I think that was something Tamiya was going after back in the day, where all of their kits were just kind of on a smaller 1/10 scale spectrum. But let's get the body off and see what's happening underneath this guy. So I'm pretty fortunate in the way this one came equipped. It does have a Duratrax AM receiver in here, 2-channel AM receiver, which I can use with existing AM radios that I have, which I will totally do because it's just fun to keep it old school. It does have a Futaba servo and a Traxxas XL5 ESC, which I'm not too sure. To be honest, it's the first yellow XL5 I've ever seen. Some of you Traxxas guys may know better than I do what era this is from. Probably that mid-2000s, but I will remove this and put a Tamiya ESC in here just to keep it nice and keep the Tamiya brand sort of within the kit. It's got these nice long body posts. One here was a little bit wobbly, looks like it was kind of repaired. And back here, the rear body posts have had some breakage and repair, then re-break and re-repair and re-break and re-repair going on. So I've got some new body posts coming in for the back, and that'll be part of the very brief restoration for this guy. Clean that up, make it look really, really nice again. But yeah, just talk about a beautiful example of a survivor from back in the day. Almost 20 years old, and this thing is in fantastic shape. Just needs a little bit of a cleanup. Rear gearbox is buttery smooth. It is gorgeous. So I'm really excited to see. I've got some new body posts on order. They're going to be coming in soon. We'll get those installed. We'll clean it up and get this thing up running. Last thing I want to talk about is the body. Now again, the Tamiya bodies back in this era were definitely not Lexan. This is a hard plastic ABS body. A little bit of breakage up here. The roll bar is kind of broken off the back of the box here, but that's not a huge deal. I'm just going to be able to fix that up with some glue. Pretty straightforward. And the body overall is in really nice condition. I mean, there's some scratches from some wear and tear, definitely. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Should I restore this body? Some scratches up on the roof there. Do you guys think I should restore this? I mean, it's not thrashed by any means. I actually like the fact that it's a little bit beat up. It kind of gives it that old school look, like it's been used, like it's 20 years old, like it actually is. The previous owner put this 350 cubic inch sticker on upside down, which I think is kind of cool. Like it just, I mean, I didn't do it. It's cool that someone else did that. It kind of, I don't know, adds to the story of it. What do you think? Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. If I should take all these decals off, clean up this body, repaint it, put on some new decals, or just leave it as is. Two options. Let me know what you think. Either way, I think a set of headlights would be pretty neat in here because it is equipped with headlight buckets. How cool would that be? So thanks again for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Stay tuned. We're going to have this guy restored and out on a running video very, very soon. Parts should be here pretty soon for this guy, hopefully by, I think, mid-October. So perfect time to get this guy out in the dirt. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a great running video. Thank you again, Eric, so much for sending this thing up to the Great White North, buddy. I really do appreciate it, dude. I owe you one. And thanks again for watching, everyone. Love you guys. Be excellent to each other.